What did you learn from ISIS Solutions in terms of the use of capital that helped you in the second endeavor? Because if the company still exists, that means a lot had to go right for it to sustain all the tests of time and the test of COVID and the test of the, just doing business for that long. So what are some of the immediate learnings that you can think of in terms of, especially in terms of not running out of money?
Well, I mean, this is a very, very tricky question when you look at money itself, because every business is completely different. But in terms of steps you have to keep in mind, for sure, raising or having more capital than what you think you need at the very early stages.
Is there a formula? Because I've heard people say this, and people sometimes they 1.5x, 2x, 3x. Was there some formula that you use?
I don't dare say a formula, but I tell you that the buffer that you need increases with every stage. So when you're in the very seed stage, you're looking for, let's say, under half a million dollars, for example, in that regard. And I think if you look at our region versus in the US versus Europe and versus other places, the definition of seed and Series A in terms of raising is completely different. But in the early stages, seed stages, where you need just enough money to prove the market as well, to look at the scalability of the market, to maybe even design your first product, that part you need just a little bit more. So I would say it's probably 1.2. If you think you need 500,000, 1.2 is fantastic. But the other side is you need to convince an investor why you need that much. Remember, when you're pitching to an investor, you are pitching the reason why you need 500,000. So if you're going to say, I need 500,000 and I need an extra 100,000 as a buffer, that doesn't sound as a very nice story. So it obviously needs to be built in the model itself, but definitely plan to have a little bit more. When you're looking at Series A, when you're looking at Series B, and so on and so forth. So as you grow, and let's say now I need Series A, $2, $3, $4, $5 million, then you need a bigger buffer, because this is where mistakes happen. This is where you start to not have the best oversight. So when you're in the very early stages, you are literally counting pennies. You're saying, I raise $100,000. Every single penny that I spend, you're definitely not going to take, a hefty salary. You're definitely not going to take a fancy office, or I hope you don't. But you're still counting the pennies to get to the goal that you want, which is a scalable business or a product or a design of an app or the launch of the app or the first 10,000 customers or first 10,000 downloads, whatever it happens to be. But then when you say, okay, now I'm ready for scale, and you successfully raise a Series A, this is where you need to go on a hiring spree. This is where you need a bigger office. This is where you need, more and more engineers to come in. And this is where mistakes start to happen.
And mistakes cost a lot.
And absolutely. And people underestimate, for example, hiring the wrong person. This is, and it's not necessarily the wrong person because something is wrong with that person. It's about that person just simply doesn't fit. I thought that product manager, that developer is going to come and solve everything. Sometimes you hit a jackpot and you get amazing people that are young, they're motivated. And sometimes you get the senior that absolutely, takes it the completely wrong direction. And all of a sudden, you're 3 months down in time, much more than salary. It's exactly the same. We're on a growth trajectory. We're doing fantastic. I need an office space for 40 people. You still 4 or 3. But you go and you get that office of 40 people, expecting that to happen. And then if things slow down, if eventually you don't grow, if you don't hit your targets, you're stuck with that. So this is where you need the bigger buffer. In Series B, Series C, then you're looking at 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million plus. You're definitely taking over what you need.
Well, I guess by that point, anyway, you've learned from your mistakes, right? You don't
Absolutely.
get to there.
Then you get the right people on the ship.
Nice.
You get the right people on the ship. And this is one very, very important thing for a lot of the founders, especially the first time or young founders, is that they don't know when to move to the side. They don't know when to move to the side.
Moving to the side.
Meaning, let someone who knows how to do this much better than me do it. And the minute you can afford to hire someone who can do operations better than you, customer service better than you, product better than you, fundraising better than you, pay them to do it much better than you can. And this is something that I would definitely do in my next venture as well, because founding, getting the problem, getting the product out and running and finding the scalable market is the role of the founders. So when the founders get down and dirty and they say, okay, now I found something that I can grow, that is scalable and the market really wants, and at the right price and the right value to the clients, now is the time to scale. So this is where you get money from investors. But this is where you can also go and find who is the best person who can lead operations if it's a product, or customer success, or sales, or account management. And it certainly won't be me. I know that already. No matter what I do next, I know it won't be me.